let's talk right now about our good friend, our good colleague, and of course, sadly, our late friend now, James Whale, who lost his life yesterday at the age of 74 after a lengthy battle against cancer. He fought valiantly to the last, but sadly, yesterday was his last day, and he is mourned now by his wife Nadine, of course his 2 children, and of course his many friends and many colleagues, many of whom he worked with closely at many different radio stations here at Talk since 2016, and many friends who were regulars appearing on his late night show here on Talk. And among those is his very close friend, long-standing friend, Lizzy Cundy, who joins us right now to pay tribute to the great James Whale. Very good afternoon to you, Lizzy.
Hi, hello Julia,
Hello.
and thank you firstly for your gorgeous message. I really do appreciate that.
Well,
Thank
I
you,
know how close you are to. I don't think I've ever seen James in the last few years without you being there. You're one of his fun friends, but you're also one of the the people he'll go drinking with and have a laugh with, but also one of the people who's been there at his side and at his wife Nadine's side when he's been going through the recurrence of the cancer. Tell us your sort of strongest memory of James. How are you going to remember him?
Oh my word! Well, probably telling me off. Actually,
yeah,
Julia.
there you go. Exactly.
He was very good at that. No, he was a great support to me. He'd watch everything I was on. He'd then ring me afterwards and tell me what I should have said and how I should have done it better and what the hell was I wearing. And I love that in James. And I lost my father quite young, and he became that father figure to me. And he often said to me, I was like the daughter he never had. So we had a very close bond. I met him nearly 30 years ago when he was first, diagnosed with kidney cancer, and he was wanting me to help him with the charity. And we just had a great chemistry. We got on ever so well. He did remind me of my late father, just because he was brutally honest, fearless, but also had a real soft side, which he really did. He was very, very caring and very loving, and he's the first person to ring me if he knew something wasn't right and say, right, how can I help?
And that's a side a lot of people might not have known when they've seen or heard him over the years. He was one of the first people to put radio on the telly, and he's telling people, get off the air, throwing people out of studios and all of that. And that wasn't an act. He was like that in real life, but there was also this much softer, much kinder side that was there. And there's also, of course, this amazing charity what you did, and as you said, that's how you met him. Talk us through what he did, because of course his MBE, which he was so proud of getting, and he did it in style, didn't he? Had Charlie Mullins, was it his roller, to take him to the palace, and we had that massive party in the evening, and it was amazing. But he was so proud. But that was not just for broadcasting; it was for his charity. Tell us what the lengths he went to raise money for other people.
He was fantastic, because he'd ring round everyone, get all his showbiz friends to help. He'd do these great curry evenings. He was a real lover of curry, and he said curry brings people together. And he'd have these great evenings where we'd raise loads of money, but he knew such a selection of people, from Nigel Farage to Bobby Davro, all sorts, that he'd all get on board, and everyone would show up for James. They were too scared not to, but it was amazing. And we'd always have a big night at the British Curry Awards, and I just remember one night he got on stage and he said, look, I don't know if I'm going to be here at the last one. I won't be. The cancer is really taking over, but I love curry. And then that year he went, Lizzy, get a table for the British Curry Awards. I said, James, I can't. You've already told them that you'll be dead. And he laughed and laughed. And we had this really great sense of humour. And yes, though he did throw people out the studio, cut people off, tell them what for, and if he didn't like you, you certainly knew about it. But he really did have this wonderful, wonderful soft side, and he was so caring and loving. And if he knew someone was not great, he'd say, Lizzy, bring them in, or let let me help them, and he'd give his time.
And I just think lots of people just simply wouldn't know about that. But it was really lovely listening to the station yesterday, and our colleagues in Russell Quirk coming to announce on air, and he did message me after. He was so, I said, you did that really well. He was saying you felt so emotional. I went, well, yeah, but you should be emotional when a colleague does. But he, like Peter Cobble and lots of the younger presenters, saying how much he'd given them. Again, the same in the sort of, you did that wrong, but here's what you should have done. But he would give support and give help. And a lot of the younger producers, in their 20s, and talking about him. But he was, he was straight. He was an honest talker. I wrote down yesterday, I was trying to think, how would I describe him? And I said, funny, clever, sharp as a nail, controversial, outspoken, rambunctious, irrepressible, noisy, rowdy, unruly, maddening. And I went, and a pain in the backside. And I was thinking also, the world is a lot quieter now. It just feels quieter already.
It's going to be a quieter place without him, that's for sure. I mean, when I used to see him call me, usually late at night or after the show, we'd be on the phone for about an hour. But he would, he was so full of life until the end. He wanted to continue to work. It was his focus, and it kept him going. And I think it really did give him so many more years having the show at TalkTV, where we had so many laughs on Saturday night.
Oh, you did.
He loved it, loved every moment of it. And he'd phone me after and say, how good was I doing this? And I'd go, yeah, you were great. And, and he had this huge love for his wife, Nadine. I mean,
see, there's the thing, he lost his wife, the mother of his two boys. He lost her to cancer, then he battled cancer himself, and it's wonderful that he did find love again. And Nadine saying, look, I'm not walking away because you're dying of cancer, I'm still here.
Yeah, and he said, look, what's happening, Nadine's got to look after me. And he said, she's so amazing. And his last words to me on Friday when I saw him at the hospice is, Lizzy, please look after Lady W. She's my world. And I that breaks my heart. But as you said, Julia, so many people have rung me saying how they've, James helped their careers. And Simon Cowell actually said to me that he became Mr. Nasty because of James Whale, watching those late night shows, copying the way James was with people. And he said it was just genius. And James would love that.
Yeah, and also a lot of people, especially young people, don't realise, he really was, the father of phone-ins, bringing them to this country, and the shock jock title, which of course he loved. This hadn't been done before. He was a revolutionary. He genuinely is a broadcasting great. And although he wasn't sort of, sitting on, Radio 2 his entire career like a lot of people from that generation, as Mike Graham was saying, he got fired a lot, but he picked himself up and he took his audience with him everywhere he went.
He did indeed. I mean, I remember one of the times he did get fired, he rang me and he went, right, I've just been fired. Let's have a drink, celebrate, and let's think what we're going to do next. He wasn't someone that was going to sit in the corner and cry.
My final thought, I was thinking, I'm not a believer in God, but I could just imagine he arrived at those pearly gates yesterday, didn't half give the Archangel Gabriel an earful, telling him what he was doing wrong. I mean, you could just imagine it.
Well, he told me he's going to come and haunt me unless I put some clothes on. So I said, OK. But I really am going to miss him, Julia. And as I said, he's been like a father figure to me. So it's going to be tough. But I'm so grateful to have had him in my life.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing those wonderful, wonderful memories. And I'm so glad you had such a wonderful friendship with him. You were a wonderful friend to him. I know that. He certainly spoke about that to me. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone for those wonderful, wonderful tributes.